I'm going to show you how to create rubrics for the MYP using our Preshil rubric generators. So all you need to do is come to a drive location like this. Either right-click Access Google Sheet Templates this way, or the same action via the New button. Here we'll find a bunch of templates, but in this instance, we're interested in the maths rubric generator as an example. So let's click on that. This will create a copy of the rubric generator. You only need to concern yourself with the middle tab. The first tab is showing the data that Google Classroom assessments will consume to create the rubrics. So you don't need to worry about that. That'll automatically be generated by manipulating this middle tab, where all you do is select criteria and strands, and as many of those as you want. So let's, for argument's sake, we want a criteria, A. We select one of the strands, a criteria B, select another one of the strands. And instead of a criteria C, let's change that to another criteria B. You notice that little red mark means that these two don't match, which makes sense because that was a criteria C before. We need to make sure the dependent is the criteria B. Now that matches. And now let's add a criteria D, for argument's sake. These are all dependent descriptions based on the official study design. The descriptors are populated, as you can see. If you want to adjust any of those descriptors for a task-specific clarification, you need to actually copy and paste again because they're generated originally by a formula. We want just the raw text, so we paste special values only. That's the only odd thing you'll ever have to do. And then you can go in and adjust as you like. So once you're satisfied with your selection of criteria and corresponding strands, as well as any adjustments to the descriptors, you can move into your Google Classroom. Let's say it's this one. Create your assignment. Some instructions. Come over here, we want it to be binary, so 1 or 0. That way we're not giving students marks, but we are tracking whether they've submitted the assignment or not, whether we're satisfied, we give it a 1. A due date, let's give it a bogus due date. You don't need to worry about times. And here we add our rubric. So if we go to plus, import from sheets, Google is smart enough to know which your latest files are. So this first one will be the last one you edited. So for us, that was the rubric generator, so that's fine. Let's select the first and add. And you'll see it automatically populates according to the Google Sheet. So you don't have to do any of that manually. You can add criteria and further ones manually if you like, but those are all the ones we defined over here. Let's save, and really that's it. So now we want to assign this assignment. So instead of assigning it to all students, let's just assign to, for this example, our test student. So he's been nominated. Let's assign. From that student's perspective, so you can see over here in the top right, it's now our test student. They go to their classwork where they'll find their dummy assignment. Those are all the criteria, so the student's aware of how they're being assessed. They do what they need to do to complete the assignment, attach it. And then when they've done that, they mark it as done. Back in the teacher view, you can have a look at that dummy assignment and you'll see that it's been handed in. You can inspect it. If you're satisfied, give it a 1 to say that you're satisfied with the submission. And of course, your criteria grades. And that's it. You're able to return the assignment, provide a comment, On the other end, the student will have their criteria feedback and be able to see that comment. Well done.